Cannot believe this shit. Alright, is YouNow finally working now? I mean, I've restarted this broadcast like 5 times now. Who's in the room? What's going on? Lacey, thank you. Shit, like I was trying to say before, YouNow just blew up. You know, we get these notifications. I get it from LinkedIn, from Gmail, and I was trying to touch the screen to clear it, and it blew up. It tried to open up Gmail and knocked my YouNow off. But I had like 5 people in here, and I guess they were dumped from another chat because they were like gone in 2 seconds. PJ, what's going on? PJ, I think, is my #1 fan now, so thank you for being my #1 fan. We were doing a PH. Am I reading that wrong? Yeah, PJ, I think so, yeah. So anyway, I was playing a video, one of my favorite videos from random stamp or non-stamp collector. What's going on, Chosy? And it's basically kind of making fun of organized religion. It's not like I'm just always watch movies or videos that make fun of organized religion, but this video was just really funny, because Christianity is always trying to blow off that they did anything bad, as history. And the thing is, it's not about Christians doing things bad. It's about the Bible is a bad book, and the teachings in it are pretty nasty. Most of them are, even there's a few good, love your neighbor as yourself things that they stole from other cultures. For the most part, it's pretty horrible. And the one indication that that's written by human beings and not God is that it doesn't have anything against slavery. And it's don't kill, don't lie, and it doesn't have the obvious one, don't have slaves, and that could have had a huge influence on history if this book is so damn important. And it's not in there because it's written by man. And so I just thought I would share this video if nobody had seen it, and I don't have YouNow hooked up to my computer, so I was just playing it. What's going on, music lover? And I guess people didn't like the topic or they didn't like the video. I don't know what's. Anyway, this I was gonna put this broadcast in organized religion versus spirituality, and my iPhone blew up. And as you probably know, this broadcast has gone on and off like 5 times now. So I've been having problems with the iPhone, and so I just put it in guys to the hell with it. And I don't know. I have some videos that I find so humorous that I thought if I played a few minutes of them, that people would get a good laugh, a good cringe out of the truth of it, and maybe have some opinions on it. Doing it so you know you're awesome, no doubt. Thank you, Lacey. So, what I was saying before, Lacey, music lover, Chosy, I'm gonna have a guest soon, or that's the plan. Cynthia, I think it's not Larson, I believe is her last name. Now I'm like blocking on that. And the thing is I need to have like a show where we have all of you in here. I need 4 or 5. So I haven't even set a date yet, Lacey, because what I noticed is a lot of the broadcast, I couldn't even keep 2 viewers in. And it's not a complaint. It's just, I don't want to, I feel almost disrespectful to the guest if 10 people are going to wander in and out of here and just leave. Lacey, you'll be there? Okay, so then you do want this live then, because I'm telling you, Lacey, I really want to do it, and I was hoping it would increase my viewers and introduce people to a lot of spiritual ideas about creating their own reality. Scientifically, this is from a, she's also got a degree in physics. PJ will be there? Okay, so then we'll do this live then, because, isn't that what happens though? Won't Cynthia understand? I guess she will. I mean, she's not made any comment about, how many people are going to be in the broadcast. She wants to, promote her book because it's got some spiritual ideas in it and about creating your reality and basically not just accepting things as they are and just a positive message, really. And that quantum physics is real science, and it does affect, there are metaphysical implications of quantum physics that I always like to discuss. So here's another person who actually has a degree in physics and wants to discuss it. and I was getting so few people that would stick around to my broadcast that I actually considered. I think it was Zoe that said just do a recording, just interview Cynthia and do it as a YouTube video so people can see it, so they can see what I'm doing, and then maybe we could start getting more people in here rather than do a live broadcast. And we only got 3 or 4 people in here who don't even really want to stay for the broadcast. To me, if I have a guest and it doesn't work, fine. I'm not going to kill myself over it, but it's going to make it harder for me to invite other guests because I think if we can get this going, I think that we can get bigger and bigger guests on here, bring more and more people in here, get the message more powerful. But if we do a broadcast and nobody comes in or nobody stays, then what motivation do my guests have to come? I was joking with Jacqueline Glenn. I was joking on her page and saying, I said, if I got Richard Dawkins, would anybody show up? I mean, this is getting really absurd. The energy could be fulfilled just even with the 2 of you. I think so. I just, like I said, I want to be really careful. I don't know how I'm going to do it as a recording. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get either Skype or Google Hangouts onto the YouNow. I'm going to figure this out. I know I got that little app that's supposed to do it. I'm hoping that'll work, but I've never done it before. And I don't know if I don't think that app allows me to record, so I'll have to have some way of recording it maybe. But I'm really thinking hard about whether I'm going to just do this interview as a YouTube video because, I mean, 10 people isn't a lot compared to the people that have 200 in their chat or their broadcast. But I mean, if I could have 10 people, I mean, we have to have some people in the room for me to start bringing in these guests. I got Cynthia Larson, Tanner Edis. I haven't even talked to him back yet again because he hasn't responded to me, and I haven't felt right promoting it until I know this is going to work. Tanner Edis is a physicist, part of the New Atheist movement, so I thought that would be interesting. And that's just where I'm starting. I'm just starting with these people. I am pretty sure I can get bigger and bigger people. Not that that's all that's important, but maybe it could boost our broadcast, boost the energy of what we're trying to do. But we got to start somewhere. And, I think typically I get 4 or 5 viewers in this broadcast at the most. That's if I'm doing good. And, you got to start somewhere. But I need at least those 4 viewers. I need at least the 4 or 5 people that come in to stay. I would love to have 10 or 20. It really, really would. It would really make me feel much more motivated and trusting that this is meant to be, and I should put this guest on live. But even if I could get 5 viewers or 4, 5, 6 viewers, whatever it is that we usually get, and y'all stay in here, then I'd feel at least a little bit confident that this is meant to be. When it starts getting down to 1 or 2, and everybody has to leave, and I don't even know if I have 1 viewer, I don't know. I don't want to focus on it, but obviously I have an issue with it. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it but keep broadcasting, keep trying. I just hope Cynthia doesn't lose interest while I'm trying to decide. And because I said that, now I had 4 viewers, now I got 2. So, I mean, to even mention it, I think, makes people leave. That's insane. You're not even allowed to... Is there some sort of YouNow etiquette where you're not even allowed to mention what the situation is? Sounds like hard work. I mean, I haven't even begun the hard work, and I'm sure a lot of the people that come in and out of here, what's going on, Lauren, are probably saying, well, even, Truth Crab, some of the bigger broadcasters are saying, you're going to have to do a lot harder work if you expect that kind of response to your broadcast. And I'm like, okay, it's what I said the other night. You need experience in order to get the job. You need the job in order to get experience. So if you go apply for a job, you don't have the experience, they don't want to hire you. But if nobody hires you, then you don't have any experience from not getting hired, so you can't get the job. But they won't hire you if you don't have the experience. So it's a loop. And I feel like at this moment in time, I'm in that loop of broadcasting that I can't get the viewers till I do the hard work. But I'm not motivated on pushing through every single idea to an empty room. I mean, it's not empty right now, so I appreciate my fans right now. But I gotta say, it's so close. Can you imagine just sitting in an empty room doing this? Just, you know what I mean? also it's the people, right? The viewers. What's up, Kayla? And Animals Girl, how y'all doing tonight? Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a huge number of people out of how many thousands of people are YouNow. There probably are only 50 people that would be super passionate about what we're doing. But I need those 50 people then. Even if I'm not going to ever get to 100 or 200 people, if I could consistently have those 50 people, then we won't have to say never anymore. Because when you have a constant stability of 50 people watching your broadcast, even jumping up and down between 30 and 50, or even 20 and 50, sometimes 20, sometimes 50, you can build from that. Well, 5 people, and then everybody comes in and leaves. That's a problem. I mean, I'm not supposed to address. I want to try and address this problem more on my webpage, because I think every time I address it on the broadcast, I get the weird, creepy sensation that anybody watching would just leave just because I brought up how many viewers I have. Like bringing that up is the most taboo, most horrible thing I could possibly do. It's insulting. It's negative. It's not positive. And then boom, people are just like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy? He talks about that shit. You shouldn't even be talking about it." Even Truth Crap told me not to talk about it. But we're gonna have to discuss it, right? What's going on, YouNow? Thank you. I'm glad I touched your heart, Lacey, and I'm glad Zoe, is getting out of this what we're trying to get out of it, and PJ is into this. So we got at least 3, if not 5 or 6 people that are really getting into my broadcast. And all I'm saying is I would like to see some consistency. What's going on, Himalaya? I know everybody can't go to any broadcast every time, and I know that I'm not broadcasting consistently enough. Yeah, Taija is a good fan. So yeah, so we have enough people to start this going. Um, but even wasn't Ty. Well, yeah, Taija was just in here a minute ago, and now he's not. And I don't know if it's because my broadcast ended. But I mean, I don't know. We should discuss this on my message board. I just created a message board. I'm gonna put on my webpage, and we should discuss what's going on and how we can promote this so we can get a consistent 10 to 20 viewers in here, even 5 to 10, to start off with, because that's what it's going to take. It really is. I just feel if we can't get 5 to 10 people consistently, then there's going to be a problem. Because I've cut my hours on my job. I told my job I want 20 hours instead of 40. So I'm basically taking money out of my bank to live on, so that I don't, so I can broadcast more. Hey, Taijo's back. Thank you, Taijo. Thank you for coming back. We were just discussing, how to light this program up, how to get this broadcast getting bigger. And I'm not expecting huge things to start with, but we were just talking about how I'm going to be having guests on. Cynthia Larson, writer, spirituality, and also physicist, and Tanner Edis, who's from the New Atheist Movement, has written some books on it, on the New Atheist Movement. That should be interesting, since I agree with half of what they say, and I vehemently oppose half of what they say. And we're just discussing on whether I'm going to do a live guest or not, whether I'm going to put Cynthia on here live. What do you think, Taija? Should I do a video of me interviewing her and see if we can get some YouTube likes and stuff, and get maybe boost this broadcast that way? That way, or do you think we should do this live? I should have her live in here. I mean, obviously a live broadcast would be more exciting, but the issue I'm having. Cynthia Larson. She's a. Let me make sure I'm saying her name right, because I've got myself a little bit frustrated and agitated on some of this, and I know I shouldn't. Pretty sure that's her name, but she is a writer of several books on spirituality and being able to create your own reality, and it's people will try to put that in the New Age, because create your own reality seems to be New Age, but it's a lot of this is based on science. She's Cynthia Larson, I believe that's her name. Hold on, I should know her, memorized it by now. Yeah, Cynthia Larson. Okay, I have it right. I was having a little mind block there, a little mind fart. I don't know. That's a horrible term. Anyway, she's a writer of Reality Shifters, has a website, realityshifters.com, and she also wrote a book called Quantum Jumps, Quantum Jumps, and we're gonna discuss her book Quantum Jumps. And what we're trying to decide right now is, do I do a YouTube video where I interview her so I can expose this to as many fans as possible without feeling my energy drop by not even having 3 people in the room, or do I do it live and hope that the fact that I'm interviewing somebody live, that we can bring 10 or 20 people in here, in which case the energy would be extremely high for me, and then the interview could go a lot better. What do you think? Should we do YouTube video and try and bring people into this slowly, or do it live? Okay, do it on YouTube. It'll keep both of you in check to have it in front of an audience. Well, if we do it on YouTube, we won't have an audience. Yeah, live could inhibit me a little bit. And what I'm afraid of is I got some sort of attachment to not having more than 2 or 3 viewers at a time. And sometimes I'm down to 1 or 2 viewers, and sometimes I only have 1 viewer, and I'm be broadcasting for 3 hours and only have 1 viewer. It freaks me out, because I know where I have to get. You would watch it on YouTube. So I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to her about doing a YouTube interview. Now Taiju says he's going to watch me frequently. So Taiju, that will help me a lot. I think what's getting me down is not the number of viewers, which of course I would like to boost, but just the consistency. I just want to know. I have some of your names memorized. Taiju, Zoe, Lacey, and so when I don't see anybody in the room, I freak out, and because I know that we have more than 3 people that say they're into my broadcast, and so when 3 is the most I can get going for 3 hours straight, I don't know. I'm not supposed to be focused on it, and every time I promise you and I promise myself I won't, but it's just, for me, it's just very frustrating. Because I know that people, at least a small amount of people on YouNow do want this content, and I know that I can't do this forever. I can't. I took, like I said, I'm doing my job. I cut the hours from 40 hours to 20. I almost quit my job so I could do this, because I have enough money to last me for a short period of time if I did. But I can't even think about doing anything like that. I mean, I wouldn't quit my job if I had 50 viewers, because then I'm still not partnered or nothing. But at least I could think about it. At least I could create that reality, which is, and that's the other thing. I'm doing a broadcast on creating your reality and on spirituality, and here I am not being able to create the reality where I have 10 to 50 viewers. And I know I've said in the past before, I'm scared of having 200 viewers and trying to entertain all 200 people and keep them in my room and have all 200 people always come back every broadcast and always be able to answer them, always be able to entertain them at the level they want. Yeah, that's a little bit frightening, but 20 or 30, I think we could do it. My worldview is either I feel my brain is a complete lie or we're all connected in some way. What part of a mosaic are we? That's how I see it. I mean, yeah, that is it. I mean, both sides can depending on how you look at it, Taiju, both sides can seem pretty absurd. If you look at it like, look, we know for a fact, what's going on, Kayomi? We know for a fact that we have human bodies, that inside the head is a brain, and that this brain processes symbols we call language. Those things we know for a fact. We know that technically, by scientific terms, we're animals or partially animals. We don't have any explanation for what our awareness is, why we dream, why when I'm talking to you right now, you are aware of this in every level and sense of the term. We don't have any explanation for how consciousness works or why there's awareness called the hard problem consciousness. We don't have any explanation for that. So it kind of seems absurd that just, pick up any piece of rock or anything you see lying on the ground and just imagine that just a bunch of trash lying on the ground has consciousness and is thinking and worrying about life. We know that's not true, and we can't imagine it could be true. But why is the brain different? Why just because there's some chemicals going through it, suddenly it should be able to really hurt when someone loves you or leaves you, or that that you could just feel so much pain about things going in your life that you might want to kill yourself, or you can feel so happy you want to inspire everybody around you and love them and share love. That comes from just human brain tissue. That seems kind of absurd. Sometimes, you ever heard of absurdism? So I don't know. Is absurd? Are you saying that absurdism is actually a branch of philosophy? I can't imagine. I've heard of nihilism, and to me, nihilism is as close to I can imagine as an absurd philosophy. It's just the idea that nothing exists. We don't exist. You don't exist. It's all an illusion. Um, I mean, that's. I was talking the other night about Daniel C. Dennett saying that basically anything our brain produces and processes language, and information comes in, information goes out, and any other experience we have of this is just an illusion. And that seems a little bit absurd to me. So how is absurdism different from nihilism? Because it sounds really similar. Just so everything does exist, um, but it's absurd anyway. I think the Stoics had a very similar view where they just tried to distance themselves from reality and they made it a philosophy. I don't know if these things qualify as philosophy. To just take a certain attitude or perspective just to protect yourself as a defense mechanism, um, and then give it a name and call it philosophy. Is that a philosophy? Taiju says, I feel, and then I'm going to wait for Taiju to say how he feels. Taiju, let's get into this thing about absurdism versus nihilism. Because these, let's say, nihilism is different from absurdism because nihilism says there's no meaning. I mean, nihilism, to some degree, almost says that nothing exists. So you can't have meaning if nothing exists. Um, let's see, absurdism says there may be a meaning, but it's absurd. Well, I mean, have you read Douglas Adams' Taiju? Have you read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, this whole series, the Hitchhiker's Guide trilogy? Have you read Douglas Adams? He attaches some of the absurdity, but the cosmic joke is not a negative, malevolent. It's not a malevolent. It's not a bad thing that there's humor in it. I never read, though I read Albert Camus. So if you liked Albert Camus and his take on Candide, I think is his story of how there's a certain movement of Christianity that was basically saying that God has a purpose and everything is good and wonderful, and all you gotta do is be Christian, believe in Christianity, and believe God has a plan. It's all the Bible, and you'll just put the God goggles on, the rose-colored glasses, and everything will be good. What did the Christians say today? God is good all the time, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. And Albert Camus made fun of that during his time with a book called Candide. Uh, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is like Candide for our times, and it's multiplied by 1,000. Drunk Face, what are you doing tonight? What's going on, Drunk Face? So I really think you should read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You can kind of look at the absurdism that Voltaire's talking about, but there's a lot more humor to it and a lot more heart to the humor. And it also talks about the nature of reality, metaphysics, quantum physics, and it just does it all in a humorous manner, where a lot of people reading it are just going, yeah, it's just a story, it's nothing to do with nothing, but it does. So if you love Voltaire, I really think you would like Douglas Adams. I think you would love him. I think you should read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the whole series. You can get a book called The More Than Complete Hitchhiker's Guide, which has every story in the Hitchhiker's trilogy. Yeah, Douglas Adams. I would highly recommend. That was the name, Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams. You got it right. And I would highly recommend that you get the More Than Complete Hitchhiker's Guide. Just get the book with all the stories in it. You can get them one at a time if it's cheaper, more in your budget. But usually you can get just a regular hardcover. I don't know if I think they might have a soft cover of it. But you can get the whole series in one book. And if you like and love the first book, I'm almost certain that you'll love the rest of them. So to buy the whole thing, the More Than Complete Guide, which has all the books in it, you'll be happy that you did. All right, so I think it's been decided, unless I change my mind, uh, or Cynthia Larson convinces me otherwise, that we're probably just going to do it as a video and put it up on YouTube rather than doing it live. I'm afraid my energies will get too down to do the interview with her. Um, if I try and do it live and I don't have any people in my room, I know it shouldn't affect me, but it will. You're welcome, Taijo. I'm glad I could expand your horizons. Did you hear in the last broadcast, Taijo, when I suggested that everybody get a book called The Mind's Eye? Um, I was also trying to tell people that you can get this book. You can read it or preview it. Okay, so there's an actual website where you can read this book. So when I recommend books, and if you feel you can't afford to buy all these books, yeah, if you can buy it, awesome. You should definitely. We want to support writers and philosophers and people that struggle and people actually have something to say. And this book, I'm sure some positive energy goes out if you buy it. If you can't afford it though, for some reason, knock on wood, you can still read this book without buying it. It's one of the few books that I found a way you can read it, and I think you should read the specifically. I think you should read the part in chapter 20 of this book called "Is God a Deist?" And you can get this online, and it is at wow. I thought I had the website right up. It's like Blogspot Mind Eye. Let me find it. I can't believe I don't have it up now. Let's see. Oh, because my web page is shut down so many damn times. Let's see which one has the link still in my browser. But yeah, if you're going to buy it, then I guess I don't have to bring it up. So what does everyone want to talk about tonight? I was going to talk about how organized religion fucks up spirituality, but that's just because I was watching these videos that I like on YouTube from Non-Stamp Collector. Thinking and laughing, my brother was skeptical of me watching you. Yeah, I remember that drama. It's pretty funny. He had every right to be protective of you. Um, I don't know what he thought I was trying to sell you, but I know there's a lot of people who try and, get your hopes up with false promises of you can just fix everything, just wave the magic wand, and just believe something and just tell yourself, I know I can do it. And me and Cynthia are going to get into that in our interview, where you can tell yourself a different reality, and it will possibly affect you. Now, I would like to bring up the scientific aspect of it. There is I believe there's a psychologist. I believe his name is Robert Ellis. I can't remember his name now. Albert Ellis. I think his name is Albert Ellis, and he wrote a book called A Guide to Rational Living, and it's based on rational motive therapy. And rational motive therapy is a branch of psychology that has nothing to do with New Age or supernatural, or about you creating reality with magic, which I don't try and promote magic, but that's what it sounds like to some people. Cynthia profession, so she's a writer and she writes on spirituality and about creating your own reality, and she has a degree in physics. I think I have some more information on my webpage, thespiritualanarchist.com. I'm going to post more information on her on my webpage as I decide whether we're doing YouTube or we're doing a live version of it. Blogspot. Let me see if I can get Blogspot. Wow, I thought I could get it. Okay. The Mind's Eye, Chapter 20. There it is. The Mind Eye, blogspot.com. Let me type this one in. Let me share this link with y'all. The Mind Eye dot, should be a dot, blogspot. I'm sharing a link with you right now. .com. Okay. So Yeah. Um, so on the website, I'm gonna keep adding to it. I'm gonna probably be doing that all weekend because I don't have to go back to work till Sunday. TheMindEye.blogspot.com. This is where you can read um, the book The Mind's Eye if you can't afford to keep buying every book I recommend you. Um, I really want people to read. You don't see the website for the Mind Eye Blogspot? TheMindEyeBlogspot.com. I mean, that's what it's called. Yes, it's called The Mind Eye, like the letter I, .blogspot.com. Lacey, did you see the post I put for the blogspot? You can actually read The Mind's Eye, the book I love so much that I'm promoting to you, for free. I don't know how they're doing it. Do you have it, Lacey? Okay. And the one about that I specifically want you to read is called "Is God a Deist?" And it's basically leans towards different ways of viewing God than religion tells you, where we're all part of God, and it's quite interesting. And there's a lot of humor in it, so it's a really easy read. Hoping for some kind of awakening. So um, there's something called transmission in Buddhism. And basically, I actually went to New York and received transmission from my teacher, Namki Norbu. I practiced Dzogchen, which is something I don't discuss too much because it's supposed to be a secret teaching only available to people that are ready for it. And if you've never practiced or studied Buddhism, you may not even want to know about it or be ready for it yet. But the point is, I got transmission from my teacher, and transmission is mind-to-mind contact where you can receive, but you have to be open to it and you have to be ready for it. So, the energy is yours. So it's not really like something I have and I give to you because you don't have it. It's really an uplifting of the energies to push you so you can sense it inside yourself. If you don't sense it as part of who you are, then the whole thing doesn't make no sense. Tor Marie, what's going on? Yeah, so um, what I was saying is, if you're seeking enlightenment, um, I'm sure there's many different ways to get to it. The only way I understand to get to it, that I've gotten to certain levels of enlightenment myself, awakening. Buddha means awake. Just to be clear, the reason why I studied all the world religions, and I studied them way more than I even ever could imagine I would ever want to. I studied them not because I wanted to join one, but because I was so offended and upset by how disgusting they are. And I had so many people where the universe kept sending me these people, convincing me that so many people came to me trying to convince me that their religion was the one true way. The Christianity, one true way. Jewish people, they knew the one way. The Sufis, the Muslims, met all of these people. Universal enlightenment. There's no other form other than the individual. I mean, there's an irony to this, Taijo. I encourage the individual because belonging to groupthink, where you try to join groups and organizations, can be a very powerful thing. But when the group becomes more important than the individual, then the group itself takes on its own manifestation. And a lot of times, we know the weakest link, the chain is only strong as the weakest link. And basically, if there's any corruption in that group, if there's any negativity, any negative energy, some people would call evil in that group, even one or two people in that group, those people are more obsessed with seeking power. So they feed off the power of the group. They try and give the group more power. The most negative people in the most positive group will try and give that group more power. And then those people will try to influence that group and influence its motivations and what's going on. And that's a problem. It's not a problem that if you belong to a group, it's a problem that you're following that group and basically supporting anything that group does, even if it turns bad. So that's why I champion the individual. Is whether you can join groups, not join groups, belong to them, not belong to them, but you always have to keep your individuality. And when you meditate and find out that there's more to you than just your individual self, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of who you are. The differentiation between a universal worldview, maybe God, and... All right, Taiju, I'm trying to complete your thought for you. I feel like instead of doing a broadcast, I'm almost doing like a spiritual counseling or a spiritual therapy session. And I got like 6 people that are dealing with Kundalini energy or depression or hyperactivity. And they're just trying to work through their own personal problems. And I'm trying to help you the best I can because I've been through pretty much all of it. Let's see. Differentiation between a universal worldview, early 20s. Yeah, I think most of the people in YouNow are in their 20s. And up till I was 19, I had some ideas of what was going on. I was way beyond my time. When I was 20, and I was dealing with my depression problems, I was told by my psychiatrist that I spoke and thought like an 80-year-old man. And the thing is most psychiatrists, most scientists, most psychologists, they don't think that reincarnation is possible. They think it's magical thinking and it can't be true. And yet he noticed that my spiritual age was different than my physical age. So even though I was only 16, 17, and 18, my mind was working like somebody who'd been alive and working on all the problems of philosophy and all the problems of what the world's problems, all my problems, for 80 years. That's how he perceived me, because I'm what's called an old soul, and they don't believe in souls, let alone old souls or reincarnation. And yet, here I was, 16, thinking like, somebody in their 80s. So I'm not sure what the explanation that he had in his mind. What's going on, Hannah? How are you doing tonight? Tonight we're discussing spirituality, metaphysics, the nature of reality, trying to get yourself on the right spiritual path. And of course, I'm open to suggestions. I've been talking so fast and so much, my throat's drying out, and I need water. I'm like dying from thirst, like I've been sitting in a desert with no water. It's crazy. So what's going through people's minds? I noticed that I attract a lot of introverted people. I remember laughing that you're almost my dad's age. No, I'm 46. I don't like mention my age much because I just get this weird feeling that I'm going to get slammed for this. I'm just going to get killed. I flirt with all the girls on here, especially the ones that have good energy, and I want to lift them up. And I would probably do the over flirting where I shouldn't be flirting because of my age and their age. And I just the last thing I would like to see is this broadcast gets really big and I have 200 viewers, and then people find out that that I'm in my 40s flirting with 20-year-olds, and they think that there's some horrible thing about me just because I joke or tell them that they're pretty or something. I'm not trying to get with anybody or cause any trouble. I'm not trying to do any bullshit. I forget how old I am sometimes. I enjoy people's energy, and I think certain people, I like their music, or I think they're a beautiful person, and I say it, and I say it the same way I would do when I was 20. So, thank you, Taiju. Thank you very much. I mean, I hear Vegan Cheetah in his discussions talking about broadcasters going to VidCon and stuff and getting themselves involved with young groupies in their 20s or even teenagers that are 16 or whatever. I don't do any of that. I don't have groupies. I don't go to VidCon. I just barely started this broadcast, Love your take on philosophy. Yeah, I mean, I've been studying philosophy since I was 11, as long as I've been studying anthropology, the mythology of other cultures. I've been studying quantum physics that long. I mean, some of it I've put more passion into than others. Thank you, Lacey. Thank you. I'm glad that you're relating what we're saying here. I mean, I think it's just going to come down to that I'm just going to attract people to the broadcast that want to discuss certain things and are dealing with certain issues in their life. And that's just the way it's going to be. And if that's 10 people, then I won't get down about it. I'll just have to go work a 40-hour job. I'll have to go work a 40-hour job, and I just won't be able to broadcast as much. And you'll be my fans, and I'll have, maybe 2 or 6 or 7 people at the most viewing, and I won't get partnered, and I'll just do the show, and I won't really be doing a bunch of guests because my energy won't be for it, and we'll just have conversations like this, and I can chill and enjoy that. I thought in my mind it's going to be bigger, but I mean, it depends on which way it goes. I have no way to predict on whether I'm going to stay small forever or whether this whole thing's going to blow up big. I got the feeling because I started to get certain energy going and I started to get certain guests that this is going to go big. So I don't know which way it's going anymore. I have no clue. I'm in the dark with the rest of you. My brother is an engineer, and I feel he doesn't respect any idea of spirituality. Well, Ty, the word spiritual, I had Jacqueline Glenn. Did anybody go to? Does anybody go to my wall, my moments, and see the other guest spots I did? Did anybody see the guest spot I did with Jacqueline Glenn when she's bringing out the Ouija board? So, Todd, you see you love Jacqueline. So, when you get a chance, Tyjo, go to my wall and look at the moments. Go to my Spiritual Anarchist channel on YouNow, and there is a guest spot where Jacqueline Glenn is doing a Ouija board, and she guessed me. And she's an atheist, so her first response is, I know you believe in all this stuff. And so I took that as, I know you believe in the supernatural, I know you're a spiritualist, and I guess by a lot of people's definition, I would be a spiritualist. But a spiritualist seems to believe that there's supernatural and that material world doesn't exist. I think the material world is an illusion in the sense when we see the material world as all there is. I don't think it's an illusion like it's not here. That's ridiculous. We're here, right? We do exist. We are here. If you punch your fist into a brick wall, it's going to hurt like hell. And if you do it hard enough, you're going to be in the hospital. So it's real. This reality is real. It meets the definition of reality. But I think there are other levels of reality. She's attractive, and you watch her because let's see, I feel like I watch Jacqueline because of how attractive, and I feel I watch her because she doesn't have anything else working for her. She dropped out of college. I mean, the thing is, I think she thought she was going to ride this new atheist movement out to the point of becoming just as popular as Richard Dawkins, and she did come really close to that. I don't know. I don't know where her career is at in her mind, what she expected, and if she managed any of that. I think she came really close, and I don't want to say she's not going to do it or that she hasn't done it on any level. She has, but she's pinning everything on that, in my viewpoint. And if you watch the guest spot that we did, I encouraged her to bring up the Ouija board. I felt guilty for doing it because I was afraid what kind of energies might come up. And so I do a guest spot with her, and the point is, if you watch us do the guest on my channel, if you go to my channel page, you'll see, her first thing is just like, I know you believe in this stuff, which to me is basically saying, I know you believe in anything and all supernatural and Bigfoot and UFOs. To me, I don't even think UFOs are supernatural, so I think it's ridiculous to put that all in the same box. But I don't see myself as supporting organized religion or anything that supernatural that organized religion promotes, like demons and gods, and I don't support any of that crap. I know that that awareness and energy have some connection, and that awareness is not dependent on the body. If you want to call that supernatural, I don't like it, because if you do, then all the religious people who love the word supernatural, the Christians, the Jewish people, they're all going to jump up and go, that substantiates my religion. I don't want to substantiate the religion, so I don't like the word supernatural, so I don't back it up. Do you believe in Ouija boards? However you spell it. Do you actually believe it? Yeah, so she thought I believed in Ouija boards. And here's the deal. Again, I don't believe that the mind is dependent on the body. So studying shamanism, I found out that there are energy beings that are not dependent on the body. They're called flyers because they don't land. They're not born into human bodies or other bodies. And so I believe that energy beings can exist with awareness outside the body. And I believe it's a physical thing that it physically exists in our reality, even if it's on another level, like the quantum level or something. But it's a level of reality. It's a real reality. It's nothing magical and some other magical thing. If by magical we mean that there's another world that doesn't obey any laws of physics at all. I don't believe in a magical world that is non-physical and doesn't obey any magical, or is magical and doesn't obey any laws of physics, and therefore it's non-physical. I don't believe that. I think every level of reality is physical and really exists physically. Um, and I think that there are energy beings, and I think some of them don't want to deal with the suffering and pain of living as a human being or any other animal, and they will fuck with us sometimes. And so, if you mean by Ouija, do I think you control those energies to you, and that could affect your moving of that thing on the Ouija board? I would say yes. I would say, yeah, I think that could affect. I was worried for when she did it because I didn't know what kind of ridiculousness would happen, and I felt like I had to put up guards to guard her energy when she did it. All right, so it looks like everybody left the room except for Taijo, or is it? Or do I have two viewers? No, it's just me and you, Taijo. I've been broadcasting 46 minutes. You know what would Taijo? What would probably help my broadcast a lot is a lot of times when one of my viewers leave, they say bye. They have to go for whatever reason, and then I feel like they have to go. Maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe they're lying because their baby's crying. Maybe they're making this up. But at least I feel better that they respect me enough to say something. To have people just leave and not even say anything, I think that really kills my energy sometimes. I mean, can you imagine if me and you, Taiji, were just sitting down at a coffee shop and we're talking, and you decide you're bored, and you just got up and left. You didn't say bye. You didn't say I don't feel like talking about this. You didn't give me a chance to change the subject or anything. You just got up and left. Can you imagine how that would make someone feel? How do you find an idea between spirits and delusions? I want to be sure there's no mental issues. Thank you, Taiju. Thank you. I mean, I really appreciate that you support me and that you're coming here, and I'm hoping I can help you out with some of this. But the fact that you support me and the fact that you're willing to, if you can give me likes or share my broadcast with fans or whatever, that you do that. And when you leave, you would say goodbye to me, not just leave. Because to me, it's disrespectful in a way. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. To me, it's disrespectful in a way of like I don't think I deserve any extra respect, but I just want to be treated with the dignified respect of a regular human being. Like I said, if we were sitting and just having a cup of coffee and you got bored, you would say you're bored. Maybe you say, "I'm sorry, I haven't had enough sleep, and that's why I'm bored." You would say something, and maybe we could change the energy of the conversation, spend a little bit more time together as friends. But you want to just get up and leave. We wouldn't be just sitting there talking to you like if you're offended by something I say or you're bored, you wouldn't just get up and leave. I just think that if we did that in person, people would realize how rude that was. And I just feel like a lot of my fans are treating me like that, and a lot of them said they like me and seem to respect me, so it's weird that they would do it that way. It just weirds me out a little bit. So you're an idea between spirits and delusions. So what is your question specifically on the difference between spirits and delusions? It's the form. It's why they treat you like that. Yeah, and I feel like some of them are like just seem they just are. I don't want to say any of them are disrespectful. I feel that most of the fans that I come in have given me a chance when nobody else has. So I feel like they're maybe not even aware of how that might make someone feel that they don't even imagine that it's the same as inviting somebody for a cup of coffee and talking to them and deciding you got to go because you just remembered something or you're bored or whatever, but you don't say anything. You're just talking and you ask a question, they ask a question, we're back and forth, and they just get up without saying anything and leave. They don't realize that if we were sitting at a coffee shop and they just got up and left, that I feel the same way when they do it here. They just don't even get it. Spirit and delusion are completely different. Delusion is 100% false, and spirit has a possibility. Okay, so here's the deal. Spiritual energy is real. This is bottom line. You have a soul, I have a soul. And I'm pretty sure from the experiences I've had that there are energy beings which are minds without bodies, because awareness is not dependent on the brain. There's a certain type of awareness that needs a brain, but awareness itself, just pure bald awareness, um, just being aware, that's not dependent on the brain. So what other aspects of the mind of awareness that are dependent on the brain? I don't know if any of it's dependent on the brain. I know that there are energies and they like to mess with people. So spirit is real, but it's a physical thing. I don't see it as supernatural, meaning it's non-physical. Would you say fire is non-physical because it follows different rules than solid objects? I wouldn't say fire is non-physical. I would say it's physical, even though it follows different rules than, say, a brick wall or something. Now, delusion is brought about by our own personal ego. So when you start feeding into your own ego and you obsessed with like hallucinatory experiences you've had in dreams or whatever, and you're creating that reality, that's delusion. Do you feel our emotions are dependent on the brain? Okay, so the brain has chemistry and it has what's called neuropeptides. And certain neuropeptides like phenylalanine, serotonin, dopamine will greatly affect how you feel. The question, though, is cause and effect. Is the dopamine, the serotonin, all this stuff, is this creating your emotions? Or are you attracting certain energies to you, which is exciting these chemicals, which creates an extreme version of emotional feeling that you would still feel anyway on some subtle level if you weren't all attached to your brain? I think that all energies and emotions on the subtle level where you barely would even think you feel it until you become sensitive enough, that's real. Your awareness, anything that is dependent on your awareness is real, and it's not really dependent on the brain. Anything that gets exaggerated out of proportion where you just get really attached to it and you just want to feel more and more of it like a drug, that has to have a chemical reaction. That's overproducing or underproducing dopamine, serotonin, all these things. That is brain chemistry. So that's my best understanding of it. Just the idea from making a physical connection to something bigger causes a problem for some reason. Okay, so I really want to make clear, Taijo, that I don't think that there's a such thing as non-physical. I have no reason, no evidence whatsoever from experiences that I've had just in the regular everyday world to experiences I've had in the shaman world, um, experiences where I left my body, experiences where I felt depression, experiences where I felt my energy so elevated I felt connected to God. I think all experience, whatever I'm experiencing, physically something exists. There are physical things interacting. We don't understand, like scientists don't understand how consciousness, which they think is non-physical, but they don't want to admit it, of course. They don't understand, scientists don't understand how consciousness interacts with the brain. Can you tell me about your ideas when you left your body? So there was a few different types of experiences I had as far as leaving my body. There's astral projection, where I'm sleeping and I'm becoming lucid dream, and a lucid dream, the realities I'm entering are not necessarily on our level of reality, so they seem more like a dream. But I've had lucid dreams where I have seen details of our reality. I've flown above a hotel one time and I saw the details of the water behind the hotel before I ever visited that hotel. And I believe I was physically at that hotel with my mind, with my soul. I astrally projected. It wasn't just a dream, I was there. I've also entered into other people's dreams. Specifically, me and my cousin do this, and we'll discuss this when I can get him on my show. He's in the middle of moving right now, and we're going to have some really exciting conversations with him. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we're going to do it, and I think that might bring some more people in too. And he will discuss some of his experiences with it. And I'm sure he remembers many times when he's entered my dream, or I've entered his dream, or we're in the same dream. But that's different than astral projection. Now, the time when I was in the truck and I saw the stars in the sky and I was looking at the universe and my mind expanded out and basically my body became small and I became less attached to it until I didn't even perceive myself as my body. I knew I had a body, but I was basically astrally, I was leaving my body. The space got bigger and bigger and expanded out and I became part of that. That was a totally different experience. From a world without any physical being, solely the spirit. Okay. So I don't think there's a non-physical world. I don't think there's a world without any physical being. I think what we call the soul is has something to do with the quantum realm, and it has to do with energy. And so, because I think what most people mean when they say this, like what you're trying to say to me, is not material, not materialism. So here's my water bottle, okay, and it's a physical object, right? When I hit it, my hand can't go through it. Yeah. So this is a physical object. So we call this physical, right? Okay. Now, let me show you something that is not material, but it's still physical. I just want you to understand why I look at reality this way. One moment. All right, did you see that? Did you here, I'll show you it on my halogen lamp. I mean, I don't even know what happens when I shine the halogen lamp in your eyes. What you're seeing there is light. Yeah. And so that is physical. But let me ask you a question to see if you can see why I'm saying this. You saw light. There's nothing else you could call it. And it's physical. It physically affected your eyes. In fact, I probably should have warned you, and I apologize if that halogen messed with you. But it's energy. It's not material. It's you keep. I couldn't. I can grab my water bottle. I can hold it up in front of you. I can even lift one of these lights up in front of you. But I can't grab the light. I can't. I mean, actually, I say I can't grab the light. I did have an experience where I was messing with the flame of a lighter, and I seemed to be able to pull it. But that's messing with levels of reality. It's particles and radiation. Okay, here's the thing, Taijo. What's going on, Selena? Exactly, Taijo. It has dual properties, so you can say it's particles. But in quantum physics, that was the first time that scientists encountered. Pretty good, Selena. How are you doing tonight? We're discussing physical versus non-physical, natural versus supernatural. We're discussing metaphysics and the nature of reality because Taijo wants to understand what is real and what is not real. What is real and what is delusion. And so I am trying to explain my view that material reality also includes energies, and energy isn't materialism. So therefore, I don't think light is non-physical. So Selena, what are your ideas on this? Where we're at here is Taijo is trying to understand spirituality. And I am trying to explain from my perspective that spirituality has nothing to do with the supernatural. Although there are some things that get so strange and weird, especially on the quantum level, that it could be metanatural, something that goes beyond materialism to the point where we don't have another word. But I don't like the word supernatural because it draws up magic and demons and gods and fairies and draws energies that I don't want to draw to me and supports organized religion who likes to scare people with demons and gods and stuff. I don't like it. I don't quite deny the reality, but I want to call it a different level of reality. I want to call it energy. I'll call it anything. I don't want to call it spirit. I mean, I want to call it. I don't want to call it supernatural. I don't want to use that term. I don't like the term. I don't like what it supports. What do you think, Selena? You said it's that you love the topic. What thoughts are going on in your head? I don't think me and Selena have had any conversation yet. Selena, have you come to any of my broadcasts before? So I don't think I know how you think. I don't. You said you love the topic. I don't think I know what your thoughts are. Personally, I believe there's something past the material, but I agree with you not calling it supernatural. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I can see myself slipping and using that term because I believe there's physics, and I believe that there are things that go beyond just the regular Newtonian physics. I don't even like to use the word believe, but I think quantum physics, it's an established fact that something is going on beyond just materialism, and that's why I always talk about the metaphysical implications of quantum physics. And I always say the metaphysical implications of quantum physics, not the supernatural implications. I just don't want to delude myself. So, Taijo, we're trying to get down to the essence of what do you think is delusionary? What do you worried about? Let's start with the basics. Again, solid object, that's matter, so that's not delusion. That's real. When I showed you the light from my light bulb, my halogen lamp, that's not matter. I can't hit it with my hand. My hand would just go through it. But it's not non-physical either. It's a physical. It's energy. It physically exists and it physically can affect you. If I touch that bulb on that halogen lamp, it'll burn me. It'll have a physical effect on my hand. It's not something that has no effect on me. That's not in the physical world. But it's not material. It's not solid. I could put my hand right through light. Delusion would be an idea that's not physical and I can't prove and repeat again. Yeah. So yeah, definitely, Taijo. If you have certain experiences, and let's see, I do believe metaphysics plays a big part in reality, but I think supernatural fits in the delusion category. Yeah, exactly. And it does depend on the situation because, I talk about shamanism all the time, and I talk about going to non-ordinary reality, and I talk about leaving my body. I think these are all physical events, but people could interpret it as supernatural because basically people will label anything supernatural if it doesn't fit into their materialistic viewpoint. So this can be accounted for. This water bottle, anybody, whether they're Christian or atheist, can agree that this bottle exists and that they're seeing something. So they won't call it supernatural. But then certain experiences that you have where you leave your body, say astral projection, I can't show you that. If I were able to astrally project right now and leave my body, how would I show you that? I can't show that to you. And so people call it non-physical because I'm the only one experiencing it, but I'm still in the physical reality. There's just other levels of reality, and that's why I discuss quantum physics all the time because I want people to understand that shamans taught certain things, but physics is now catching up, and physicists now know that there are other levels of reality. They're even discussing, finally agreeing on the possibility of a multiverse that I've been trying to tell people for years that there's most likely a multiverse. Now scientists are finally catching up with me and are saying there might be many universes. So we don't have access to these universes, but as far as I know, they're all physical universes. Could depend on the person and how aware they are, or metaphysics, because that can cause a lot of confusion if they're unaware. Yeah, physics does play a huge part in this. And the thing is, if you haven't experienced other levels of reality besides the common level, then you have motivation to stick to the reality that makes you comfortable. So basically, if you ever experience anything that doesn't make you comfortable, your two choices are to acknowledge that this experience has really happened and pursue and try and find out what it is. Is it real? Is it delusion, as Tyjas wants me to discuss? Or you can just deny it. You can just say it didn't happen. If you see a UFO, it was cloud, it was swamp gas, it was just, a weather balloon. You just deny you saw it. Just deny it happened. That's only two options I can think of. Look into it and see if there's any realness to it, or just deny it happened. He's a chemical engineer. So, okay, so he understands about chemistry, he understands about engineering. Selena says she has some crazy experiences. Why don't you share one of your experiences with us? Maybe we can use that to help Taijo understand. We're trying to clarify the difference between delusional and non-ordinary experience. What's real, what's not real, basically. So if you feel comfortable sharing an experience, Selena, we would like to hear um, some aspect, whatever you're comfortable sharing. Um, yeah, let's fan Selena. Yeah, let me fan you, Selena. I mean, right now, I'm super appreciative of any. Selena, why don't I guest you? What do you think about that? Selena, would you like to guest? I really want to do more guesting. I do a lot of talking. It dries out my throat. Sometimes the conversation works. Can't guess at the moment. Okay, that's fine. Um, I'll have to guess the next person next time I get a chance because I really want to do more of that. But yeah, go ahead, Selena. Please share your experience with us so we can get an idea of. Thank you, Taijo, for likes. I really appreciate it. Every time you give me likes, I know it helps my broadcast. And right now, I've been really struggling trying to get this broadcast going. So I appreciate it a lot, Taijo. But we're going to let Selena type out some of her experience so we can get an idea of what a real experience is, because I get the feeling that she's about to tell us something that is just deeply real and deeply significant to her. So I appreciate it, and we're gonna wait for her to type this out. That'll give me a chance to not dry my throat out so much. So yeah, Taijo, I think Selena's about to share with us. She's just trying to type everything out. YouNow doesn't tell us. This is why you like me. I'm not sure. I'm glad you like me. I'm not sure why it is that you like me. I mean, I have some ideas because you told me before, so I'm not gonna call you out on it. Um, but I'm glad that I can help you. Okay, so here we go. Selena. Selena's telling her story. She does a lot of meditating, which is something I suggested for you, Taijo. One time she was in a deep in her zone, deep in my zone, because it was after my grandfather had passed away, and out of nowhere she felt something. Okay, like my spiritual mind wasn't in tune with my physical mind. Interesting. Okay, so started to feel disconnect, where she was maybe disconnecting from her body or something. We'll find out. And it was like I kind of entered another. Taiji says he wants to experience this. So Taiji wants to have some spiritual experiences. Did you say you want another demon? Taiji, is that what you said? I hope that's not what you said. Dimension. Okay, yeah, that's a big difference, Taijo, to say dimension. Okay, YouNow is correcting our spelling to such a point that it's okay. Taijo wants to experience other dimensions of reality. Aware and unaware at the same time. So basically, Selena experienced something where her awareness became so subtle, and she literally let go of what we call the material or physical world. And um, basically, it sounds like what I call when you die. Um, when you're not aware because all your thoughts are gone, so you think you're not aware because you don't have any thoughts. Um, but you're still aware. So even though you're not constantly thinking and experiencing everything the way you normally do, your awareness is there. So when you experience that for the first time, it feels like you're aware and you're not aware at the same time. Am I getting close to what we're talking about? Because I've experienced similar things, but I don't want to put my experiences on you. Like I've entered my subconscious mind. So I mean, what we call the subconscious is just it's another level of awareness that we basically are just not aware of most of the time. And if we are, we're just barely aware of it. It's like a child playing in the background or hearing the ocean waves in the background while you're focusing on something else, and we're just barely aware of it. So we don't think it's us. We don't think that's part of who we are, our awareness, until we experience it. Then it feels like it's a different awareness, even though it's really you, and you just haven't been paying attention to it most of the time. Don't trust my mind to tell me the truth. I mean, look, Taijo, you should doubt. You should be capable of doubting, doubting ego experience, doubting your mind. You shouldn't let it eat you up though, because there are other energy beings, and they will try and fuck with us if we're not paying attention. But the good news is, if you pay attention and you connect to who you are, connect to your soul, who your real being is, the more you connect to you, your soul, the essence of your being, basically. The more you connect to the soul, the source, and you just only open yourself to the energies of love energy, the more you're going to connect to the ultimate source of energy, God, the universe. And the more you do that, the more you can trust when similar energies try and communicate with you. If other energies come in and start screwing with you, then yeah, there's going to be a problem, and you shouldn't trust those energies. I feel you. I'm an alcoholic. I feel it may destroy my idea. Well, Taijo, part of the problem here is alcoholism, because it can fuck your spiritual. I don't know how else to put it. It can fuck your spiritual energy up. If you already feel your energy's messed up, then you add alcoholism on top of it, it can mess it up. I actually talked to a person who was warning me that he was possessed by negative energy, or that he thought he was the devil or some other demon or some horrible crap. I didn't believe him, because I only felt that energy to a degree, and I didn't realize to what level he might be telling the truth. And one night I was talking to him about it, and he started drinking more and more, and when I stopped by, he was completely drunk off his head, and so his consciousness, his ability to block out negative energy was gone, and I challenged him like an idiot, and there was another being looking out his eyes, and basically I said, "You gonna let go of him?" And this other being was telling me by no means that this being was older than time itself. So I don't know how old it is really, but whatever this was talking through him and saying, "I am whatever, and you're not going to fuck with it." And I walked away from him because I could not do nothing, because he'd given his energy to this other being. It's nasty. It's a nasty affair. I'm about to do something. I'll be back on in a second. All right, Taijo. All right, so Selena, are you still in here? Because you were telling us your story, and Taijo, I think, had to leave for a second. And originally, Selena was saying that she was meditating, and something right after her grandfather passed. So I'm guessing that this experience eventually went to Selena experiencing something about her grandfather, because she brought it up. So I'm thinking that's what it's going to be about. Selena, are you still with us? Because I kind of went into a side discussion there on negative versus positive energy. It's only okay. So, Selena, I want you to tell us the rest of your story, but I want to know when Taiju's back, because otherwise we might end up having you repeat the story. So, if you could just tell me some general details, anything you want to tell me. Breaking up. So this is a video glitching? What's going on? Is a video just like jumping? Is my voice turning off? What's going on with the energy of this chat room? Selena, what's going on with my video? Can you hear me? It says the last message I have from you is that everything's breaking. What's going on, Muhammad? Selena, can you hear me? I want to make sure. You said there's a problem with the video. Muhammad, how are you doing? Welcome to our broadcast. We're discussing spirituality, metaphysics, nature, reality. what spiritual experiences are, what delusion is. Selena, are you there? I'll make sure I'm still broadcasting. Selena, hello? Selena, Muhammad, Taijo, who's here? Do I have a broadcast working? Nobody's saying anything. The last thing I heard was my broadcast is breaking up, and nobody's saying anything. So, what's going on? I'm not going to just keep talking if nobody's here, or if nobody can hear me. Hello? Should I end my broadcast and start it over? YouNow's been giving me some serious trouble here. This always happens when I try and warn people away from negative energy. The minute I bring up the topic, it's like it invites things to fuck up. Alright, so do I end the broadcast and start over? Can everybody hear me? What's going on? I feel like I want to type now because nobody's responding. Is anyone in here? Whoops. Can everyone hear me? Type test and the hell happened? Ready to start this fucker over again. Thank you, YouNow. Thank you so much. Taijo. It only says Taijo. Nobody's here. About to reboot this computer. Alright, I'm glad you came back because I was about to end the broadcast. I thought YouNow was effed up. I was about to start the broadcast over. I need my fans, like, if I have technical